Imagine watching the man your mother loved destroy her life piece by piece. And when she finally gathered the strength to walk away, he still tried to manipulate, cheat, stalk, and intimidate her. But here's the part he never saw coming. Her kids were done being silent, and we made sure he paid for every single thing he did. This is a story of how we ruin a cheater's entire life, career, freedom, and reputation, using nothing but the truth. If you've ever wanted to see karma land a direct hit on someone who absolutely deserved it, hit that like button, subscribe, and get ready. Because today's story is one of the most satisfying revenge endings you'll ever hear. After 25 years of marriage, Opie's mom watched her relationship crumble. Her husband, Opie's biological father, had been manipulative and emotionally draining for years. When she finally gathered the courage to file for divorce, she was exhausted, grieving, and vulnerable, the kind of emotional state where even the wrong person can look like a lifeline. And that's when Chris entered the picture. He was charming, he was attentive, and he made Opie's mom feel seen for the first time in a long time. But there was one problem. He was a former inmate from a county jail where she worked as a correctional officer. DUI conviction. Red flag number one. But she ignored it because she was hurting, and sometimes people cling to anything that looks like hope. Opie remembers thinking, if he makes her smile after everything she's been through, maybe that's enough. So Opie, along with her brother and sister, moved into Chris's home. At first, everything felt strangely normal. Chris loved video games, so he and Opie bonded over late-night matches. He was friendly, respectful, even grateful to be accepted. It felt like peace. Until 2017 one morning, Chris left for a routine probation check. Hours passed. He didn't come home. Then the phone rang. Area code, Texas. When Opie picked up, Chris's voice sounded panicked. He explained that he had been arrested, not by local police, but by the FBI. His family back in Texas was tied to drug trafficking and gang-related crimes. And Chris had been in the wrong car during the wrong handoff. He wasn't innocent. He wasn't misjudged. He was involved. But he cut a deal. He agreed to testify against his own family in exchange for a lighter sentence and temporary release. For Opie's mom, it was a punch to the chest. She had already survived one manipulative man. Now she was tangled in another man's criminal mess. Still, she stayed loyal. She spoke to him for months. They even planned to get married after he returned. And for a while, when he did come home, life settled. But only on the surface. Chris started drinking slowly at first, a few beers after work, then half a case a day, sometimes more. A mean drunk, a loud drunk, a cruel drunk. He never hit anyone, but his words were knives. He belittled Opie's mom. He picked fights with her kids. He used alcohol as both an excuse and a weapon. Opie remembers thinking, this is exactly who he really is. We just never saw it before. Their mother defended him, saying he was stressed because of the upcoming trial. But excuses can't hide a rotten core forever. And eventually, she broke point one night. Chris stumbled into the house smelling like beer, sweat, and stale cigarettes. He could barely stand. Opie's mom finally asked a question she'd been terrified to face. Have you been drinking? He didn't deny it. He didn't apologize. He just shrugged, like their lives meant nothing. She snapped. She told him to get out. Right now. No discussion. He left to stay at a friend's house. The next morning, she asked her kids to help pack a few of his essentials, so he wouldn't return until sober. But what happened next changed everything. There was a knock at the door. Standing outside was Betty, one of Chris's co-workers, and someone Opie went to high school with. She looked nervous, almost shaking. Please don't tell him I told you, she whispered. But you need to know. She revealed that Chris had been cheating on Opie's mom with a woman named Darla. Not only cheating, he had been using his workplace, the Dairy Queen he managed, as their personal motel, bathrooms, freezer rooms, behind the building. And the worst part? Darla was pregnant. Opie's mom froze. Shock first. Rage next. Betty confessed that when she caught them, Chris threatened to fire her if she told anyone. Opie's mom didn't cry. She didn't yell. She just said, get everything he owns, all of it, out. The kids dumped every last item Chris owned into the alley behind their house. Then she called him. He confessed to everything, proudly. He even said he was glad Darla was pregnant because Opie's mom refused to have more kids. No remorse. No accountability. The mask was gone that Opie's mom didn't want revenge. She wanted to be done. But Opie, their brother, and their sister? No, they wanted justice. And they knew exactly where to start. Dairy Queen is a franchise. Each location is privately owned. Chris's boss owned multiple branches, and he trusted Opie's family. Opie and their siblings called him and explained everything. The cheating, the sexual acts on company property, the abuse of power, the threats to Betty. The owner didn't hesitate. He fired Chris immediately, then banned him from every location he owned. Betty got promoted into Chris's manager position and ran a cleaner shop in 1 week than Chris did in 2 years. Chris scrambled for work and eventually found a job at another DQ an hour away. So, Opie and their siblings made another call. This time it took longer, since the cheating wasn't happening in that store. But eventually, that owner fired him too. 2 jobs gone. 2 reputations destroyed. But karma wasn't finished. Soon, Chris started driving around Opie's neighborhood. No license. On probation. Drunk. Stalking their mom. Opie and their siblings contacted the police and explained the car he was using, the plate number, his probation status, the likelihood he was intoxicated. They asked officers to pull over the vehicle next time they saw it. Several weeks later, the call came. Chris had been pulled over. He was drunk. He had no license. He was immediately arrested. But the universe was about to add a bonus. Police searched the home where he was staying, Darla's place. Inside, they found multiple guns. Chris was a felon. Felons cannot legally live in a home with firearms present. Another charge. More jail time. And right when he finished serving that sentence, he was shipped to Texas for the original family crime trial he had been avoiding. Karma had arrived, and it was just getting started. While Chris sat behind bars, Darla gave birth to a son. And once the baby came, she realized the truth. Chris wasn't a victim. He wasn't misunderstood. He was poison. She cut ties with him while he was still in prison. That's when Chris started writing desperate letters to Opie's mom. Dozens of them. In one paragraph, he begged for forgiveness. In the next, he blamed her for everything. Then he'd switch back to begging again. Opie's mom didn't read most of them. She burned every letter. They moved away. New house. New life. No more Chris. Years later, Opie heard he moved to Kansas, broke, miserable, struggling to pay child support, which Darla sued him for and won. Meanwhile, their mom met a genuinely good man, someone who treats her with respect, compassion, and real love. Opie and their siblings grew up, moved on, built their own lives. And Chris, a footnote, a warning, a man destroyed not by lies or drama, but by the consequences of his own choices. In the end, Chris watched everything collapse. His job gone, his reputation ruined, his freedom taken, his family abandoned him, his son's mother left him, his future wrecked, his letters burned unread. And the delicious part? Opie's family didn't lie. They didn't manipulate. They didn't break the law. They just revealed the truth. Chris destroyed his own life. They simply made sure justice caught up. At the end of the day, some people mistake kindness for weakness. They think they can lie, cheat, and hurt everyone around them and never face consequences. But the truth is simple. Karma may take its time, but it never forgets. If the story gave you chills, smash that like button and subscribe for more real-life revenge stories. And tell me in the comments below, what's the worst betrayal you've ever seen? Thanks for watching. And remember, sometimes justice doesn't need revenge, just a little push.